This is Top Accolade Global News Updates. I am Soibifa Jagrich. Israel launched an attack on Iranian soil on Friday, sources said, in the latest tit-for-tat exchange between the two arch foes, whose decades of shadow war has broken out into the open and threatened to drag the region deeper into conflict. Iranian media reported explosions, but an Iranian official told Reuters those were caused by air defense systems. State media said 3 drones over the central city of Isfahan had been shot down. Israel's leadership and the military were silent early on Friday. Iran has no plan to strike back immediately, a senior Iranian official said, while state media had an initial subdued response to the attack. The United States received notification before Israel's attack, a source familiar with the situation said, which came days after Iran launched an unprecedented strike on Israel with a barrage of drones and missiles. Most of those were shot down. Washington and other global powers had pressed Israel not to respond or to ensure any further retaliation was limited to prevent a broader conflagration after the latest surge in violence was sparked by the airstrike on the Iranian embassy compound in Damascus on April 1st that was blamed on Israel. That strike came against the backdrop of Iran's support for the Palestinian Hamas militant group, whose assault into Israel on October 7th triggered Israel's invasion of Gaza. 5 Japanese nationals in Pakistan escaped unhurt on Friday from a suicide bomb attack on their vehicle as police shot down a gunman accompanying the bomber. A police spokesperson said, but 2 bystanders were among the 3 injured. Islamic militants seeking to overthrow the government and set up their own strict band of Islamic rule have launched some of Pakistan's bloodiest attacks during the last few years, and some separatist groups targeting foreigners, including Chinese. No militant group immediately claimed responsibility for the rare attack on Japanese nationals. However, with Pakistani authorities identifying them as engineers working from the management of an export processing zone in the port city. The Japanese have been moved to a safe place in police custody, the spokesperson said, although the bystanders and a guard with the visitors suffered injuries. One of the 2 motorcycle-borne attackers set off explosive tied to his body as soon as the vehicle slowed. Pakistani counter-terrorism official Raja Umar Khattab told reporters but failed to strike his targets. That prompted his accomplice to start shooting at the vehicle. The men had followed the Japanese group's vehicle for some time before the attack, he said, with authorities suspecting they carried out reconnaissance to identify the target and location of the attack. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif condemned the attack, praising the timely police action for saving lives. Apple said on Friday it had removed the Meta platforms, WhatsApp and Threads from its App Store in China after being ordered to do so by the Chinese government, which cited national security concerns. Telegram and Signal, 2 other foreign messaging apps, were also removed from the store on Friday, according to app tracking firms Kimai and AppMagic. The removal of the 4 apps suggests growing intolerance of the part of China's central government toward at least some foreign online messaging services that fall outside of its control. It also signals less leeway for Apple in China. That said, other Meta apps including Facebook, Instagram and Messenger remain available to download. According to checks on Friday, many other popular apps developed by Western companies including YouTube and X were also available. It was not immediately clear how WhatsApp or Threads might have caused security concerns for Chinese authorities. The Cyberspace Administration of China ordered the removal of these apps from the China storefront based on the national security concerns, Apple said in an emailed statement. Meta declined to comment and referred queries to Apple. Apple did not respond to requests for comment on Signal and Telegram. Representatives for the 2 companies did not immediately reply to requests for comments. The Cyberspace Administration of China also did not immediately respond to a request for comments. These apps and many foreign apps are normally blocked on Chinese network by the Great Firewall, the country's extensive comprehensive cyber system of censorship and can only be used with a virtual private network or other proxy tools. The 4 apps remain available in Hong Kong and Macau, China's 2 special administrative regions. The deadline for companies to complete registrations was the end of March, and the regulations came into effect on April 1st. Apple has removed apps from its China App Store before. In 2017, Apple removed the New York Times News app, saying it violated local regulations, a move that came amid rising news censorship in the world's second largest economy. It remains unavailable on Apple's China App Store. Last year, Apple pulled a number of ChatGPT-like apps when Belgium was working on local regulations on generative artificial intelligence (AI) services. Indians began voting on Friday in the world's largest election as Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks a historic third term on the back of issues such as growth, welfare, Hindu nationalism, and personal popularity. The vote pits Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) against an alliance of 24 opposition parties that promise greater affirmative action and more handouts, while stressing what they call the need to save democratic institutions. He was among those queuing outside polling stations, some well before the opening time of 7:00 a.m. amid tight security. Friday's phase is the first and largest of 7, covering 166 million voters in 102 constituencies across 21 states and territories, from Tamil Nadu in the south to Arunachal Pradesh on the Himalayan frontier with China. Almost 1 billion people in the world's most populous nation are eligible to vote in the entire exercise running through the peak of summer until June 1st, with results set for June 4th. Surveys suggest the BJP will easily win a majority, even though voters worrying about unemployment, inflation, and rural distress in the world's fastest growing major economy. Unemployment was the main concern for Mohammed Shabir, another Muslim voter in Haryana, about 100 kilometers, that is 60 miles from Delhi, the capital. The 60-year-old driver and father of 8 said none of his children had regular jobs. Hindu nationalism is a key election theme, especially after Modi's January consecration of a grand temple to the god king Lord Ram on a site in the northern city of Ayodhya, believed to be his birthplace. Critics accuse Modi's government and party of targeting India's 200 million minority Muslims to please their hardline Hindu-based charges both deny. Shares fell as much as 6.22% to $572.58 in pre-market trading on Friday after the company unexpectedly said it would no longer provide subscriber counts, while its second quarter revenue forecast fell short of Wall Street expectations. The video streaming pioneer revenue targets for the current quarter missed analyst average estimate of $9.54 billion. It said on Thursday that from the 2025 first quarter, it would no longer report subscriber numbers each quarter. Analysts said the company's move to stop revealing subscriber figures might be contentious. Evercore ISI's Mark Mahane, who said the announcement was not terribly surprising, said it was a sharp decision, nothing less. Netflix executives have urged investors to focus on revenue and operating margins when assessing the company's progress rather than customer additions. Shares of the company fell about 5% after hours on Thursday on the streaming platform's 2024 revenue outlook, which also fell short of analyst expectations. But analysts are still bullish on the company's growth trajectory, with at least 4 brokerages raising their price targets on the stock so far. Netflix is benefiting from its cheaper ad-supported tier, which is helping to capture customers that would otherwise stay away from the platform because of financial concerns, said Sophie Yates, lead equity analyst at Hargreaves Lansdowne. Netflix said its ad-supported streaming plans helped attract 9.3 million new customers in the first quarter, nearly double the consensus forecast of analysts polled by LSEG, bringing the global tally to 269.6 million at the end of March. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Friday.